Awesome. Welcome, one and all, to Dead OSC Gamers Pathfinder 2nd Edition Rise of the Runelord. I'm your host, GM Jared, and today I'm joined by Michael. Pathfinder 2nd Edition
Oh,
Rise of the Runelord. I'm your host, Dawn, GM Jared, and today I'm joined by Michael, Becca, Pathfinder 2nd Edition
oh,
Rise of the Runelord. Carla,
hey,
and Eddie.
hello.
We are playing Rise of the Runelords converted into 2nd Edition. We are being sponsored by Hero Forge, and this is our session 0. Hopefully, everyone has fun. I'm sure everyone is very new to this, right? General head nods. Um, so we'll get right into it. So we pick up on the town of Sands Point. Sands Point is a quiet side fishing village. They have a large merchant port, a very large community that is has a number of travelers who come through. It is kind of a halfway point between two major cities. The closest one to your area is Magnamar, the city of monuments. Our, you have all been here for a few months. Marvolo, you actually have been here the longest. As you wake up to start your day, how does your day start?
Um, okay, well, Malvolo lives in a very small, unassuming little share house with a bunch of carpenters from the Woodcarvers Guild. He sleeps on a kind of a ratty bed made of straw and rags, and when he wakes up, the first thing he does is go before anyone else wakes up to kind of brush his teeth and kind of wash his face. He spends most of his time, including bedtime, wearing a porcelain mask over his face so his features are obscured, and it's one of the only times he will take it off is to kind of freshen up. And then once does that, we'll start cooking a very small, humble breakfast of some eggs, a few strips of dried jerky and bacon grease, and some rye cut into thin slices for himself and about 5 or 6 woodcarvers that share this place together.
Awesome. With that, the cooking does rise a number of the woodcarvers who have been asleep. They sleep in after you. You're cleaning up and you've got your mask on and you start your day, and a voice comes out from in the back. Stepping forward is your summons, Kalodi. What does Kalodi look like?
Uh, Kalodi is about a 5'8", 5'9" tall wooden puppet. He dresses in leather attire and has a cowl over his head for the most part to obscure most of his puppety features. But the way he moves, the way he kind of gaits forward is very disjointed um, as he kind of travels.
Mm-hmm. Kalodi does remind you that you have a meeting later on today with Jervis Stute, an old friend of yours, as you were one of the first few who had made it to Sands Point, thrown from the past into the future.
Yes, no, I am aware. Thank you very much. I will go see Jervis soon. He says he has a new piece to show me. I'm very eager to see this. I would offer you breakfast, but I feel as though it would just go to waste.
Transitioning from Malvolo, now move on to Rain. Rain, you wake up and you start your day. What does your day start look like?
In this case, it's a little bit different since she's actually traveling with her potatoes that she sells from town to town. She's much further away from home. So she's camped outside a little bit. She wakes up, is used to her normal farming routine. She would take care of her horse first, feed them, set up stuff, and then begin to take care of herself. There's a process in which you take care of others before you begin to take care of yourself. And so she goes out and feeds her horse, pets it, makes sure that it's all set, stations up her food little cart that she's got, positioning the potatoes in a way that she values them. To anyone else, they're just normal looking potatoes, probably just dirt rocks to some that don't really appreciate them. But to her, they're beautiful. She finds those that are just the perfect shape, placing them out in front, looking at the different placements of large and small to give it a lot of texture. She just looks at it in her own form of beauty that she appreciates, that she's put so much time and effort into cultivating. And then she simply just changes out onto her robes, something simple, brushes through with her hair. She loves looking out. This particular port is beautiful and fascinating to her. Her hair itself is that seafoam color, and she just feels very in touch, finding that same color sensation from the environment around her and feeling connected with it in that same sense. So she takes her time brushing her hair, combing it down, waiting as the morning passerbys begin to filter in, walking past her, taking a small eyeing at the potato stand that she's got set up. And she quietly just sits there and brushes and greets each person as they go by.
A few of the people as they pass by are a bit taken back by just your visage, but as this is a trading port and a hub of a town, they are not rude in any manner. You strike a impressive pose upon them. You have been called back here as you have also been thrown from the past to the future. You feel a driving sense to come here every so often, and you remember why. It's in the air. You can feel it coming. With that, we'll move over to Nex. Nex, what does your day look like?
She kind of extracts herself from the like pile of blankets that she's in. I imagine at the top of the tailor shop, and spends a few minutes kind of tying a whole bunch of knots, working on like knitting a little bit of a hat she's working on, and she keeps talking into like the collar of her cloak, and occasionally there's these little spidery legs that kind of peek out and then it scuttles back in, and she's just kind of under her breath talking to it, and then kind of begins picking out what things she wants to wear that day, tying some of these knot work pieces, a few around her wrist, a few attached to a belt, and then just kind of quickly grabs some like granola type thing, whatever she's got kind of shoved in her bags, and scarfs a few bites of that down and heads down into the tailor shop and starts voicing her opinions on everyone else's work.
Yes. So the tailor shop that you work in has become infamous for selling to start selling to the upper class and the richer. In the store today is Titus. You're expecting him to come in and you're fashioned for him a fine new outfit for later on this evening, as there is a new play being aired in the playhouse that is part of Sandpoint. That's kind of where your mindset is. You're really getting ready for him to come in as you've established yourself and established this tailor shop to be of the higher quality. Moving on, we come to Cassandra. What does your day look like?
I am going to wake up in the sort of hotel where I stay as a guest schmoozer. So not an escort, but there to schmooze and make people like spend more money on booze and like, you know, stay at the gambling tables longer. And then I'm going to make sure I'm going to spend a long time in front of the mirror and near the wash basin, just making sure I look normal. And then I'm going to head out. I wave to all the staff that I know. I have a very small room. It's not like luxurious or anything. And then I'm going to go to the nearest florist or a field, depending on my price range this day. And I will pick some flowers and put them in my satchel, and I'll crush them a little bit so that an aroma comes out. And then I'm going to go look for new people in town to suggest they come to the hotel.
Yes. So you get your flowers, and as you walk by, you again crush them up and start to put them in, and people always comment on your sweet smell, and you nod to them, and that's part of your allure to the public. You kind of pull them in with this beautiful flowery aroma, and you find yourself excited because that same energy that brought you from the past to the future is around. You can feel it in your blood today. Everyone has that feeling in their blood today that you know something's coming. You know that another traveler will be appearing very soon. Eddie, today you wake up. Crut, right? Crut. You wake up, and the sounds of clamor of war is upon you. You can hear the chains that bind you still clanking. You are in the arena. You have spent many days here as slave 83. You are powerful. You are strength. You are a fighter. What does your day look like? You are still in Zin Bakaran.
Right. Well, Krut wakes up to the beautiful noise he's used to. Then he just goes into the bidet or bucket with water and splashes his face and have a couple of handfuls of water as he gets ready for another day of beating.
Yes, as you start to clean your scales and the scars upon your body, each one tell a story of a hard life, a life won in battle and in war. A voice, a meek voice, calls out into your cage. You're being summoned. And you turn and you see a halfling, scarred and battered in tattered clothing. They open the cage, and two very large humonguli step in, and they attach themselves. Their hands are like hooks, and they attach themselves to your chains. They start to take you forward. Being led and dragged, you are taken to now the High Palace. Here, the voice of the Runelord speaks to you. Not the Runelord themselves, the voice. This is a man dressed in royal regalia. It says to you, Krut, you have done well in the arena, and today you will be granted a very great honor. You'll be given a sword, and that sword you will wield in combat and in battle, and you will go forward and lead our armies so that you may create more conquest and victories for your lord.
Krut doesn't say anything, he just nods.
With accepting that, you are dragged forward and you are brought to see this massive rune blade. You are told to place your hands upon it, or your talons, as you are a lizard person.
I lunge and clutch one of my hands onto the blade, and then just...
As you do that, the humonguli come forward and bind you in chains to the altar to make sure you cannot escape. And chanting starts, and you can feel the power of the rune blade going into you. You know this is your last moment being a free thinking entity, as this blade will take over. And the chanting starts low, and then it starts to get louder and stronger and faster. You could feel it coming to a crescendo, and suddenly a bright light, and you look up, and you could see coming from one of the large stained glass windows of the effigy of your lord, the Runelord. You start to see what looks like a meteor striking forward, coming from the sky, crashing into the ocean in silence. We pick back up in Sands Point. I apologize if I keep saying Sands Point. It's my bad accent. It is only one sand. They only have one sand in Sandpoint.
Multiple
Grain.
sands.
One
It's
singular
a-
grain of sand.
A
It
single
is
grain
their
of sand.
precious sand.
Yes. Um, we pick back up in Sandpoint, and your days have been going. Next, you have completed your job. Rain, you've started to sell your potatoes, your loving potatoes. Cassandra, you have Cassandra, you have brought in a few new customers. Uh, Mal, you have seen your friend and you've had your conversations. And it's starting to fall upon the evening, and the town criers are calling that the new play talking about this play is being aired today, and it's by a very famous Pathfinder Society, Eondo Klein. It's one of his stories from ancient temples he has uncovered, and supposedly it tells of a story of how travelers from a distant past will now be brought to the future. And he said, and they say, it is a true story as he saw it upon runes and murals in ancient Thessalonian temples. And as the criers talk about this and shout, explaining this performance, it kind of piques everyone's interest as it sounds very familiar. Um, that all of a sudden, like, what? Like maybe this is something that everyone you've had those experiences. And as you hear them, Malvolo, as you're walking back to the Woodcutters Guild, you hear them and you hear about the play, and it strikes a chord. And that energy in the air, it drags you to the past. Have a flashback of your life in old Thassalon. What was that like?
Okay, so old Thassalon, Malvolo's mind goes back to his lands, which were, I remember I wrote this down. I feel like I feel like I did. It was none other than the lands of Sloth, known as Zin. Let's see if I can say this right. Haruka. It is a land that is filled with streets that are mostly populated by people, by outsiders, demons, devils, other extraplanar creatures, performing a myriad of tasks and the like. My character awakens, is without a mask in this particular world, a part of a family of trap makers. People who focus on creating nefarious devices of torture and misery. His brothers, 7 of them, mother, father, all happily and hard at work over burning hot forges, commanding various creatures to do their bidding. Malvolo is separated from them and builds and constructs these tiny little effigies. He builds a set of his family members in these tiny wooden carvings.
As you're building these effigies, and the city of Sloth have these demons and outsiders, you look up into the sky and you see a meteor, and you know something's coming. Cassandra, you are, in your tavern, playing your games, talking up the folk, and you know, you start to have your own personal flashback. What is your life, your previous life, like?
So I flash back. We lived on a farm on the outskirts of Saint-Gastache. All the farms are doing very well. Every farmhouse is quite opulent, and the nearest farm to us is probably, I don't know, 15 kilometers away, I'd say. I don't know the conversion.
That's fine.
And my betrothed, which we haven't decided, but he lives on the nearest farm. My brother's busy working out in the fields, and my parents are busy preparing and packaging the food that's going to be sent out to other cities and continents, which our Lord gets paid very well for. And they're just checking on a tally that it's not going to the same place, because we're actually supplying two warring factions, both the opposites. And then I am dragging myself through my day. I'm dragging myself through helping my parents and checking and helping my brother on the farm, and then also just checking and preparing our defenses, because there's a lot of like really large ankegs, and bandits like to come here because food is not as easy to get everywhere. And so when you see me preparing, you see me sort of shoveling freshly dug graves and just making sure the graves are turned. The soil is turned so that skeletons can come out easily. But I'm doing it with a lot of just like, this is every day is the same, and this is my life.
A sad drudge.
Yeah.
We've all been there. We've all had those moments. And as you're turning the graves over, a sound you've never heard before starts to emanate throughout the land, and it's kind of sounds like a screeching sound, and you start to see people running. And this is weird, right? You're on your farm, and all of a sudden the farm hands and your family start to run towards you, and they seem to be trying to flee something. And as you're turning, you're confused, and you look up into the sky, and you could see this meteor coming closer to it's in the atmosphere, and it's burning up, and it's burning bright, and it looks like a second sun. Next, what is your life like in your old world?
Well, I imagine we find her kind of trudging along a road, all of her belongings kind of piled up, grumbling about her brother, and that he's not gonna be able to run the shop without her, and his fate must just be that the shop's gonna close and everything's gonna fall apart, and I'm gonna go off and be fine on my own. And this whole time kind of talking to Nyx, who's tucked back in her collar, and occasionally Nyx kind of comes out, and she stops and listens, and like goes and ducks and hides as some danger on the road kind of appears.
And with that, Nyx comes out and whispers to you, and basically says, "We have to go." And with that, behind you, a bright light starts to appear, and you turn, and you do see this comet, and and it's very close, and it's bright. It's almost blinding, as you would be looking into the sun. And Rain, what was your life like in the past?
Rain bristles as she falls back into this memory. She's back in a very small, humble farm village, very isolated, further away. Couple cows out, just a few chickens running wild, and she wakes up every day in her same routine, taking care of her elderly parents, trying to move through the home that was not built for her. Awkward as her two very small mom and pop human parents knit and pick at her, asking and bringing updates of her sisters as they have gone off and married and had children of their own. She nods as she takes care of them, helping them get up, feeding them breakfast, and then hopping outside to attach herself to the plow to help start getting the fields ready for the next harvest. She moves through the dirt easily, away from everyone. She feels more comfortable, just pushing through. As she begins to sweat, a little tail just gently dabs the sweat from her eyes. Her little squirrel friend is hopping around, hanging around on her horns, letting the tail dangle over her, helping her out, offering a cool little breeze, as it will, fanning her as she heaves forward, churning the dirt. Work that she knows she just falls in line with, the quiet movement as she moves forward in her process.
As you're turning this dirt and finding a serene peace in that, as your character you described, you look up for a quick second to breathe, just give yourself a breather, and you see streaking across the horizon what looks like a shooting star from your advantage. And then you hear a boom, and on the horizon, you see a massive cloud shaped like a mushroom. And you feel wind start to rush towards you. And that was your life in the past. Now you're here in Sandpoint. We are all here in Sandpoint. And that energy, that same energy that dragged you from the past, is now building, and you could feel it building. And what would you like to do? Malvolo, what would you like to do?
Well, feeling this sensation of familiarity, this the same kind of feeling I had when I imagine all the others arrived. There's a very wearied, very tired sigh that gets let loose from Melville as he. Here we go again. Kalodi, fetch my things. We'll need blankets. They always need blankets. I should tell the others. Malvolo isn't a very private person, or isn't very sort of antisocial in any way. He just is very inconsiderate about things. So he is going to not exactly know where to find everyone else.
Mm-hmm.
So he quickly says, "Okay, Kalodi, come. We must find them. I will look for Rain. If you can find Nexon and Kaz." The puppet sort of jangles and says, that ain't my job. Are you kidding me? Fine. But look, you owe me. My joints are creaking and I could really use a tune-up. Yes, fine, please. Just hurry. We don't know when the other will arrive. And I'll go off in one direction while Kalodi shambles in a different one.
Making that clickety-clack sound?
Yeah, making that typical clickety-clack sound.
Is Kalodi in any specific clothing today?
Yes, Kalodi is in his he's in his typical sailor's attire. So he's dressed kind of like as a fisherman with like kind of like a like a bandana over his head, and he's got like kind of the fish oil stains over his like white shirt and blue pants. He's got like that. He's also got some pillows tucked in under his shirt to kind of make him look a bit chubbier than he is.
Sure. Um, so Kalodi, kind of goes out into the world, and Malvolo, you're kind of wandering through the town. Um, you see people passing by, and an old, not so much friend, but a confidant, um, Father Tolbin. You can see him walking the street with his daughter Nualia, and he kind of nods in your direction and says, "Oh, good morning. How are you today, sir?"
Uh, uh, Good morning, Father. I'm well. I hope that you and your daughter are fine this glorious morning.
Yes, we are doing very well. We
Hmm.
are
Yes,
actually.
no, that's very nice. I'm terribly sorry, Father, but you've caught me a little off guard. Um, please, I reach into my pocket and I find a small whistle.
Hmm.
It's kind of shaped in that of a sparrow, and kind of almost as if he's treating the small child like it has the plague.
Hmm.
He goes to give her the whistle, but then every now and then winces and pulls back a tiny bit, but then it's okay. And then he hands her the tiny bird whistle.
So Nualia takes it and like strokes it a little bit as if this was something beautiful. She hasn't really received gifts like this, as she is the daughter of Father Tolbin, who is a very pious man. And she kind of looks at it, says, "Oh, thank you very much, Mr. Malvolo." And she tucks it into her dress pocket.
I was showing you, but yeah, you keep it, so it's perfectly fine. Uh, this I and Father Nualia, and I will then continue to puddle off.
And as you start to like take off, Father Tolbin's like, "Oh wait, sir, let me please pay you for the fine craftsmanship."
It was my pleasure. The joy it brings is the payment, all that stuff. Uh, and he sort of moves as he moves away. He takes a moment. He's hyperventilating a little bit.
Yeah,
Um, he does not do very well with
a lot
that
of
kind
stuff.
of scenario. So he's just taking a breather, and if he had an inhaler, he'd use it. He just
Wonderful. Um, we pick up with next. You're coming out of that heavy memory of a world long gone to you, and you can feel that energy coming, the arcane energies, as you were one of the second earliest members of these travelers to come into this new time period. You remember Marvolo being there, Malvolo being there, and you've assimilated. What what are you going to do? Where are we at?
Uh, um, Nexon's going to uh kind of make her way towards where the play is being put on and
Mm-hmm.
keeping an eye out for Malvo or Kolodi.
Mm-hmm.
She's kind of walking down the street knitting as she walks, just absentmindedly.
Yes, not a problem. So you go onto the street and you're trying to keep an eye out as you're walking, and you can see townsfolk surrounding, and you make your way, and all of a sudden you hear click clack click clack 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 clack, and you remember hearing that as that is the infamous sound of Kolodi. Uh, Kolodi calls out to Nex. What would Kolodi say? You're muted, Michael.
someone cast silence on me. God dang it! Every time I keep telling him, I need to be immune to that sort of stuff. Hey, Nex, it's
Yeah,
me.
yeah.
He sort of at this point like pulls away kind of this really dodgy fake beard, looks around. Kalodi.
How are you doing today?
Well, a bit rickety, a bit neglected, but hey, what's new? I have a message. I didn't get the message. It was Malvolo wanted to see you for something. There's maybe a guy
Oh,
involved.
yeah. I had a feeling that things were kind of bringing us together today, so that's why I was actually on my way to find you.
Oh, well, that's excellent. He also wants me to find Cass, and he's looking for Rain right now.
Ah, well, I can come with you, and
Oh.
we can go get Cass.
Oh, great, fantastic. Oh, this sounds like a good. Do you need to get anything, or?
No, I've got everything I need. It does look like maybe that shirt needs a little bit of stitching, to really bring it together. It's a little raggedy around the
Oh.
edges.
That's the look I'm going for. I'm going for disheveled sailor. What do you think?
Well, if that's the look that you're going for, I think you've nailed it on the head.
His as he laughs, the pillow sort of falls out from his gut, and he's like, "Oh, just grabs it, just grabs it." Oh, well, he's at this point you can kind of see Malvolo. Both Malvolo and Collodi. Their hand begins to glow. He's that way, which means that's where he's looking, and we need to look. Well, do you know where Cass would be?
Uh, well, we can always check at the inn that she works at.
Checking in. I get it. Okay, lead the way.
So, Kalodi and Nex, you take off together, a awkward pair, as Malovo, Kalodi is just clanging, clanging, clanging. It's not terribly loud. It's not like obnoxiously loud.
No, it's actually not even proper. You know how kids like get like the trading card and put it in the wheels of their bike to make it sound louder. Collodi's effectively done that to the joints of, so he's just got like little tiny cards just to make that kind of clickety clack sound. He doesn't have to. It just stopped Collodi from sneaking up on him, on Malvolo.
The same way pet owners put bells on their animals.
Do you know how creepy it is when you're like awake at like 2 a.m. and this puppet is just standing there?
They could be equally terrifying in the dark, and all you hear is clacking somewhere in the house.
Yeah.
When it's quiet,
yeah.
that you have to be worried.
Yeah, that's what. Yeah, it's like when you have a kid.
Oh, good lord.
So, sorry, one moment. Rain, you are, in the town, remembering that past life, and now you're here. Those energies swirling and building, and you can feel the earth or nature kind of changing. It's these weird arcane energies that you can like feel. It kind of makes your hair stand on end a little bit. And what would you want to be doing?
She's carefully moving through the crowd. She's fidgeting with her hands, taking slow breaths, knowing I need to do this, I can do this. As she almost tiptoes through everything, just incredibly cautious, her imposing figure just towering over every other individual, trying to dodge occasionally with her horns getting in the way, being just incredibly uncomfortable in this space. The noise of it, the bustling of it, it terrifies her in many ways. And so she's cautiously just slinking as she can along the sides, but occasionally having to move forward, bumping into a few people. I'm sorry. I'm just trying to. She keeps, as she looks down, apologizing to people. Her head occasionally gets stuck in a few laundry lines that tiptoe across above everyone else in the alleyway. I'm sorry. I'm just trying to. I'm sorry. I'm just trying to get through. She's gonna duck a little bit more, not that it helps at all. I'm just trying to get to the center, and then I can stand there. She's just thinking, okay, if I put myself in the middle, they'll find me. They'll find me.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I have to get through this. And she'll move forward, just finally making it to the center. And she'll just almost in a way, as she stands up tall, sucking in everything else, trying to make herself as thin and lean as possible and as a tall of a tower as possible, actually allowing her height to be there almost as a small beacon. Like, I hope that they will find me. She's holding her hands, almost clutching and bringing herself into it just to hopefully not be in anyone's way. Hello. Hi. Still greeting everyone as they bustle past her. They're not even, if they do stop, it's more of young children looking up like, oh, wow, as their mothers pull them along in that process. Hi. Yes, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. She's not quite sure where to go. And she's just looking around desperately, hoping that someone will recognize her.
Um, as you're standing there, kind of trying to make yourself as tiny as possible, but also as long as possible. Um, you do see a familiar face come peeking out of the crowd. Well, not so much a face as it is a porcelain mask. And Malvolo, you see Rain kind of just standing there trying to hold herself.
Hey,
And you're still muted, Michael.
hey.
I'm going to try and make my way. I'll come to you. I like Malvolo looks around to try and find a way around the crowd rather than through, if possible.
Yes, there's more than enough of a way to go through the crowd.
Sorry.
You
Pardon
can,
me.
not touching people, you can make your way through.
Oh, Rain. Oh, thank God I found you.
Goodness, I can't be in here much longer. I feel like I'm going to crush some child or their pet.
Well, that sounds messy. Have you started feeling the that feeling?
Yes. There was this weird, almost aura, a vibration that I felt, and that's why I'm over here. I don't really want to be here, but it feels necessary.
This is all right. It just means that another one of our kind is on their way, and they'll be here shortly. Similar to how we were there when you came.
Thank you for that, by the way. All
Don't
very
thank-
terrifying. I'm sorry.
Oh my God. Yes, thank you. No, thank you, please. Yeah, we should move.
Could we, perhaps somewhere inside that we could go to? That would be so much better. Oh, Kalodi! She sees them and she's gonna just be excited. Another friendly face, and actually pick him up so she could actually see him.
That's not Kalodi.
Oh. Oh.
What does she have?
She thought it was Clody, and it was a gentleman walking with a scarecrow, and she kind of like picked it up and was like Clody, and then it turns out to be a halfling who was walking with.
Oh my gosh! I'm so.
So it did look like Clody, and then the halfling looks up at you and is like, "Do you need something?"
I'm. No. You just have a wonderful outfit on, and I thought I would admire it. You have a nice day. And she's gonna like set him down. You need to go now.
And the halfling kind of just starts to walk off and like keeps looking behind.
You look great.
And Malvolo and Rain, you can start to make your way through out of the crowd.
I suggest we perhaps go to the inn.
Yeah.
Cass will probably be there working.
Before I embarrass myself further, let's do that, please.
So,
although I should make a note, making Kalodi out of straw might make him quieter.
Cassandra, You are in the inn, having that memory come upon you. It's strange, but those memories do come upon everyone during the prior to the moments of the summoning. Um, you were one of the last to come forward in time, and you can feel the energy building and getting stronger. And then all of a sudden, there's a ding ding as someone opens the tavern door, and in steps next, and a fisherman.
Um, do I 100% know that it means someone's coming and we're not getting sent back?
You're not. No one here is sure. The only time everyone has ever felt this and had these like flashes into their past lives, um, were when a new person arrived. So it seems that a new person would be arriving, but you're not sure. This is all still very new to everyone. Again, you've been here maybe a year at most. Some of the older travelers have been here about close, maybe a year. They've assimilated into the crowd. The longer you're here, the more you feel like you're losing those memories or something's changing, and they only come forward in such a vivid is when the energies do compile like that.
Okay, so I'm gonna for myself, I'm gonna prep sanctuary, like in my mind. I'm just like, if anything starts pulling me anyway, sanctuary. And then I'm gonna walk over and find an open table and gesture to Nixon and the sailor.
Next, you could see Sandra kind of giving you the wave and is sitting at a table.
I'll walk on over with Clody. Cassandra, how are you doing today?
Fine. We've got a lovely crowd, and I imagine we're going to be 1, 2, 5, potentially 6.
Yeah, I guess if you count Clody here as one.
I mean,
I like to count to myself. No, wait, wrong. Yeah, I like to count myself. Don't worry about it.
yes.
By the way, it's me, Kalodi.
I didn't know. And then I wink at Nix. And I'm like, today is a very fine disguise, Kalodi.
Oh, thank you.
You almost can't hear his clacking.
Yeah, I'm gonna get that bastard Malvola to fix this damn leg.
Well, if you just hold these knitting needles and bounce them back together, you can kind of pretend that that's where the noise is coming from.
Ah, distraction.
See what you're saying.
A drink to quiet anyone's nerves?
Yes, your finest jug of human liquid.
But I'll have a beverage as well.
So I'll gesture to a server, and for Kalodi, I'll just order something that looks fancy, like it looks like a cocktail, but it's just water and like food coloring.
Yeah.
And then for Nixon, I'll order it.
Sure. As you work as the tavern, the barkeep doesn't really charge you for the drinks, and the water with some parsley to turn it green is free. Anyway, they just look at you confused that that's an order, and you sit down at the table. Lodi is there and next there, and everyone kind of hears the door open again, and in steps Malvolo and Rain. What would Malvolo and Rain like to do?
Rain is going to have to side step into the building because her horns and antlers are too wide to go in straight forward. So she kind of has to duck and scuttle through and try to get in. Okay, I always forget how hard it is to get in here.
I'll be like one of those really weird uncles that stands outside when you're like trying to park a car parallel and just be like, left a bit. Keep going. Clear, 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 clear. Okay, stop. Now down,
Okay.
and then to the right a little.
Uh,
Keep coming, coming,
Your
coming.
right or my right?
Sorry, you're right. You're right.
Okay. Okay. Oh, ow. Okay. All right. All right. We're in.
And,
We're in. There.
Yes.
That works. Yeah. Thank you. Mhm. Hi, everyone. I'm just gonna start waving at some of the different tables. Hello.
Everyone kind of takes a moment to look at Rain, and then get back to their drinks, as you are about a foot taller than every other human here. Nex and Cassandra are both about knee height, and Malvolo is Malvolo. So the group is together, and but this is kind of a small ritual. Rain, you do travel, but whenever the energies do call, you do come back to Sandpoint. Malvolo, you're kind of the unofficial, since you were the first one here, you and Nex, you guys have more experience with these situations. So please, what would everyone be doing?
Rain is going to spot them sitting over there getting their drink. Cassandra! And she's going to just kind of move forward. She's like, it's so wonderful to see you again. And she'll accidentally get her hoof stuck on one of the chairs that she goes through. And she's going to tumble forward, and more of that running, falling forward, since she had that momentum going, as she starts to barrel through a few tables. So a few waiters having to pull back cautiously, trying to protect their drink that she has. And she just kind of falls forward and almost lands on Cassandra. Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. I was just, it's been so long. And she's going to just embrace her there on the ground.
I'm gonna like try reach as high as I can, because I know she feels awkward about her height. So I'm gonna be like, don't worry, like you don't have to go low. And then I'm gonna look at the patrons, and if anyone's looking, I'm like, keep your eyes on your own tables. And I'm like, I know you're cheating, John. At someone at the card table.
John like looks back at his hand again. He's just like,
I'm like, that's right. And then I'm like, hey, and I give her a hug. And I also like picked a table because I assumed they were coming. So I picked a table that's also where her seat would be, like, you know, in the corner, and you know, and feel unobtrusive for her.
yes.
You've always been so thoughtful. Thank you. It has been forever. How have you been?
Good. I just want to know, we're not going to get sucked back, right? I'm very happy here. We're good. We're good. Someone new's coming.
That's the vibe I'm getting. I can't sense anything else. I assume.
Yeah, it does seem like fate has brought us together again to add another to our group.
If it was up to me, I definitely wouldn't have turned this into a thing, but I understand that there are going to be a few like us. Better to find out if this is going to be someone who is going to, I don't know, try and take over the world or something. I mean, I just bless my lucky stars that Lisala hasn't seen fit to launch someone from Bakragan here. Last thing we need is some giant, angry, pseudo-sociopath coming through and killing everyone in Sandpoint.
And then Cassandra's face is going to just for a moment be like, oh, fuck. Sorry. I mustn't swear. Keep it relatively.
No, swearing's fine. It's a soft M, so F-bombs are okay.
As she's like, oh no. And then she's going to very quickly cover that and be like, oh no, who would want that? And I'm going to be like, sit. And ordered more drinks.
As you work in the tavern, you know, the waiter will come and drop drinks at the table. And yeah, again, everyone has this energy and this feeling, and you do all remember where the entryway is in the general area. It's outside of the town. Just so everyone understands, this town is surrounded by woods and forests and such. Um, you're not all sure why you were brought to this town to begin with, or why that entryway is there, but that is kind of where it's at. So, um, you can
Alright.
feel the energies building and getting heavier and heavier, and you know it's coming. Like it's one of those, like when you have a wine cork and you're pulling on it, and you know maybe the next pull, it's going to pop, and you're gonna be able, and whatever's coming is gonna come. And again, everyone's come from different periods and different areas of the Thessalonian Empire. You, again, you're not sure who's coming out of this or who might be going back. That's a that's a possibility also. Um, what would everyone like to do?
Well, I, for one, would like to get a drink. My nerves are not exactly what they used to be, and I think there's been plenty of excitement even before this person has arrived.
Sure. So you're
I'll
gonna
have whatever gets given to Collodi because he doesn't drink. He's just sitting there, sort of waving it about.
so you
Oh,
can take Kalodi's drink and you sip it, and it's a heavy sip of parsley water, giving it a green tinge, and there might be a leaf or two in there.
I look at Collodi. Collodi sits there and goes, "It's human liquid." He's just very sad and just sad drink.
It's a
I'm
very
gonna pour some of mine and just be like, slide it over.
Thank you.
Lodi. Lodi, that's you. I didn't recognize you.
Yeah, no, it's me. Check it out.
I thought you were a sailor. I thought you were somebody else that I didn't recognize, and I didn't want to say anything.
Oh,
Right, they're both names.
this is why she's my favorite. I'm so glad. Collodi, he is. Yeah, I'm very excited. I'm very excited. Malvolo, he's no fun. You know, he doesn't. He gets me every morning, just because he summons me. You know, but you're special.
I thank you. Well, I just saw, you get me. You get me. You have such little life in you. I love it.
Ah, Collodi sort of grabs two like tiny little stickers and puts them on his cheeks. They're like little pink stickers to make it look like he's blushing.
Oh, you're just so adorable.
He he sort of does like almost like the Japanese kawaii thing, but he's like dressed as this fat sailor.
Oh, Kalodi.
Malvolo is not amused.
Oh, come on. It's just fun.
As the party is at the table, in comes a very familiar face. It's Kendra, uh, Devrin. Kendra is the current mayor's daughter. Um, she looks very disgruntled and very upset at this moment. She goes to the bar. Kendra isn't a frequent, but when she does come in, it's usually something's on her mind. And she does always meet up with a very handsome, the second in command, um, Baylor Hemlock. He is a large gentleman, and they always sit together and talk kind of about what's going on in the town. He is the second in command in the sheriff and the town guard, and they usually talk about what's going on. And as of late, the town has been Rain. You wouldn't really know this as you travel frequently, but Cassandra, Nex, Malvolo, the town has been dealing with a number of incidents with people going missing and people certain people turning up no longer alive, and she seems almost flushed in the face. Cassandra, you notice that the um, she orders a very heavy drink, like a scotch, and that's like, you know, that's not something she normally orders.
And Baylord's not with her.
No, not right now. Usually they come in together and talk kind of about what's going on in town. Um, the mayor's daughter is very, Kendra. She's very active in the town. She's more of the liaison between the mayor and the town. That's how she would act. So everyone knows her. Everyone nods at her. She comes in, very friendly to everyone. Waves. Hey, how's it going? How's it going? Um, Goes up to the bar, orders a scotch, and just starts to drink as if something is on her mind. Like she doesn't even sit down. Just
I'm going to turn and I'm going to say to the table, perhaps Kendra knows something more. She seems 1 minute, and then I'm just gonna trundle off. And as I pass the server, I'll ask him to bring Malvolo a better drink. And then
a real drink.
Yeah. And then I'm going to sidle up to the bar as much as a halfling can sidle by like standing on a bar stool, casually leaning. And I'm gonna turn and I'm gonna say, that kind of day. And
you
gesture to the scotch.
Yeah, and she turns and looks at you, and her eyes are puffy as if she has been crying. She goes, "Oh, you'll never believe what's going on. It's been very hard."
Oh, I'm so sorry. You want to talk about it? And I'm gonna we're not as close, so I'm gonna pat, not because I'm uncomfortable, but because I'm like, I don't know if she's gonna dig the pat.
Yeah. And she looks at, she goes, "Oh, I'm just very concerned for the town. These late unpleasantness has been weighing on me and on my father, the mayor. I'm honestly at my wit's end. I don't know what to do. It just seems as if within the past year, things have been getting worse and worse. Um, the and then she kind of like trails off a little bit as if lost in thought, and she takes another sip. And then she goes, I'm sorry, I don't mean to bother you with all of this."
No, it's not a bother. Us townsfolk also like to have a lovely town, and I sort of gesture to the table, and I'm like, I'm sure we would love to help. We all live here after all. We've always lived here.
So she smiles at you and she goes, that would be lovely. Actually, maybe if I could sit. And then she sees Nex and Malvolo and a sailor, and then she kind of looks over and she's like, "Oh yes." And then she sees Rain and she goes, "You probably all could be of some assistance. May I sit with you?"
Of course. And then I'm gonna jump off, and I don't know how fast she drank, but I'm gonna surreptitiously, so that she doesn't fall off her chair, guide her. And it's easy because I'm a halfling, so I can get her knees real good.
Get around her knees, keep her standing. Yeah, she has short, strawberry blonde hair, very fair complexion. Your generic, farmer, clothing. While she is high up, she doesn't dress to her station in town. She dresses more normal, right? Like no big peacock feathers or anything like that. And she follows you over to the table and she nods. She goes, she looks at the table. She says, good afternoon. How's everyone today?"
Malvolo will stand and sort of nod.
She goes, "Oh, Malvolo. Next, Cassandra." And then she looks at Rain and she goes, And she kind of nods in your direction, and she's like, I don't believe I've caught your name.
Rain Man. It's wonderful to meet you. And she's
Cassandra.
gonna start like fidgeting by brushing her fingers through her hair.
And then she says, and then she looks at the sailor and she goes, "Sir?"
Hello, fellow person. I am. He looks at his hand where you can see there's like some words scribbled in. I am Jim. Jim the sailor. It is a pleasure to meet you.
Oh, Jim, wonderful that you're here. I'm glad you're here. Maybe you could give us some insight. May I sit? She kind of like looks at the table. No one pulls out a knife and says, "Get the hell out of here."
No,
so-
Jim will sort of say, yes, of course, because sitting is a normal thing we do.
He's like, "Yes, thank you very much, Jim." And she will take Jim's seat and sit, and looks at everyone and says, "I'm very sorry for bothering everyone today. It's been very hard lately in the past year. Next, Sandra Malvolo, I'm sure you've heard the rumors that have been going on, Rain. And you know, we try to make sure the public isn't so worried, and maybe getting the perspective of everyone, you know, other townsfolk, other shop owners. I've been trying to tell my father that he needs to keep more guards on the street for for the unpleasantness that's been going on, but we're running real overwhelmed. So overwhelmed with everything." And then she looks at Kolodi, Jim, and says, "I just don't know what to do with what's going on. I level head, and I'm worried about everyone here. They state that was panic among the people."
Well, we certainly don't want any panic, so I think anything you say at this table, we can keep amongst this table.
Thank you, Nexon. I appreciate that. Number of people is fairly higher than you've heard, and the manner in which they have been is very gruesome. And she kind of pulls out a parchment and she unravels it, and everyone here has seen this symbol. It's the Sheridan, the 7-pointed star of the Runelords. And you all know this. I mean, this is part of your history. You lived in that time period. And she says the bodies, they were found with this carved into them. I don't know what it means. I'm concerned that there is a larger conspiracy going on in the town. I wish I knew what else to do. And as she's saying that, in comes a crier, and boom, he starts to proclaim about the play that is going on and how it's coming from these past travelers are coming into the future, and they will, you know, lead the history of Galarion. That's the name of the planet that we play on, and how they come from these magical gates And you should all come and see the great play put on by the famous Sidrak Drokus, the theater director. And, you know, people are like, oh, we should totally go. And you hear them clamoring about that. And Cassandra looks at them and then kind of turns her shoulder so that she's facing the table more and like kind of separating herself from them. She goes, and then she wraps the paper up and tucks it away. She's like, I'm concerned that with all the people in that one area, there might be something dangerous happening. That someone might attack the tavern, the theater. Sorry. I don't know what to do. I'm terribly sorry for putting this onto everyone. I wish I knew how to handle all these unpleasantness.
I might not speak for all of us, but I was planning on finding my way over to that place, so I can certainly keep an eye out on things.
If you all would be able to go there tonight, that would put my mind at rest. And she kind of looks over at Rain and says, someone like yourself could probably see much more than everything else, meaning kind of gesturing to the fact that you stand much taller than most general people. Do you think it's safe to have that many people in one area? And she's now talking in like a hushed voice. I'm not gonna hush myself because I feel like if I do, Eddie will have to mess with the mechanics.
I think that many people in any area is quite bad. Well, if there is a danger in town, like you were saying, with so many people being unalived, then perhaps maybe it might be wise for us to look into this. Rain, myself, Kaz, and Nexon, we are not experts in guarding or security or investigation, but maybe there is someone who you can, maybe a soldier or a guardsman that might be able to accompany us. I know just the guy. Don't worry. He'll be right there with you the whole step of the way. I'll find him tonight. You know, you won't. Yeah. You'll be completely. Shut up.
And then she looks at Jim, and it's like, Jim, if you have someone I can pay. And then she reaches for her pouch and starts to pull out like 2 silver pieces, and it's like, if he's willing to guard.
Oh yeah, no, this guy totally reliable. Don't worry about it. He's one of the finest fighters I know.
So she'll take out 2 silver pieces and hand it to Jim, and like, Jim, like, you know, reaches and obviously would take it, right? Kalodi would take it.
Well, yeah, Kalodi reaches out and definitely takes it.
Yeah, and she's like, please, just if you can, I'll speak with the theater director to see if I can procure a few tickets for you guys to be able to go there tonight, and I would very much appreciate if everyone could keep an eye on everything. I really wish I knew what the symbol meant. Has anyone seen that? I don't know what I'm saying. I should definitely just go to the library and maybe research it. It's just
No. We'll take care of it. Yes. Just gonna eye around to the others. We can handle this.
Well, and it is a symbol of the Runelords.
And she kind of looks and she's like, Runelords. Yeah, I've heard about them. They were monsters, right? They were monsters. They did monstrous things. And then, you know, she's kind of grasping at like history mixed with, you know, legend, right? Like Arthurian stuff like that. She's like, yeah, they were monsters and they hated everyone, right? They destroyed the First Nation. That's what people call Thessalon, the empire you guys were from, uh, right? They so why would someone now be putting this into them?
Maybe it is just some sort of knickknack. You know, the traders and merchants from the stalls, they sell all kinds of things that they pick up. Maybe this is just nothing of any kind of importance.
And then so she, you know, she finishes her drink, and she like takes it hard, and she looks at the group, at everyone, and she's like, I just and then she starts to like tear up, and then she kind of like pats her face, and she goes, I'm just so sorry. I know everyone here, I appreciate everything you guys are doing. I should get over to the theater and be able to procure a few tickets, or at least have them on reserve. Um,
Could you leave your minds in the back, please?
in the back, yes, of course. That's actually genius. You would be able to see the crowd from the back.
Yes, I was thinking the same thing. Looks like we're on the same page.
Yes, you know.
And near
please.
any exits.
Near exits, yes, in case you have to leave
In case
very
they're
quickly.
running.
Yes. Oh, that's. See, I knew talking to you all here would just shed some light on these dark times. I don't understand what kind of malintent has taken over our village. It seems like within the last year, things have just gradually gotten worse and worse. I wish I knew what was going on. Thank you, and Jim, thank you so much for hiring that guard for the group and everyone.
Don't worry about it. I definitely got you covered.
Yes, thank you. And she will excuse herself from the table and get up and says, I have to go speak to Sergeant Baylor. I have a few things to take care of, and I will get those tickets, hopefully. Thank you very much. And she, you know, bows to you and leaves the table and leaves the party. With that, please, you're all here.
Is the play... So would there be enough time to get to where we think the entryway is and back to the play?
Yes, the play is in late evening, so it's a night play, and you would have more than enough time. The entryway is in the forest around the city of Sandpoint, and it's not that far from here, maybe a mile or less. Sorry, conversion, kilometers, miles. I mean, I could say like, oh, it's a quarter
Look,
of a
strictly
league.
speaking, this stream is split straight down the middle in that regard.
Yeah.
So I mean,
like I mean, right? Like I could say it's like a league or so. Like
Yeah.
maybe use like local terms.
So no, trust me. Just pretend like the rest of the world only understands what miles are when you're only talking about specifically 500 miles, because you
Yes.
always need to go 500 more. Yeah.
You can only walk them.
Yeah, you're only allowed to walk them.
All right.
So normally, this is just me asking. When would I be given a symbol, like a no of this is when we're taking a break, or?
Yes. So it would be no. You would basically be the one to instigate that. You would find a nice point where you feel comfortable taking a break. Then we then take the 10 quote 50-minute break, and then come back when we're all good and ready for that.
Okay.
So if you're ready for that, you can do that now.
Yeah, let's take a quick break.
In which case, Eddie has got that queued up for the break. Sweet.
All right. And scene. Welcome back. to Dead Aussie Gamers Rise of the Runelord in 2nd edition. I'm your host, Jared, and I'm picking up with Michael and Becca and Dawn and Eddie. And we were just in the tavern where Kendra, the mayor's daughter, came in and told everyone about how the murders that have been secretly well, not so secretly, but what the townsfolk know about the murders and what is really going on has changed dramatically in their eyes. They have also been getting these strange energies pulling them towards the entrance or the summoning portal, and it's kind of at the moment where you now know you have to get there, but also on their docket they have to stop at the theater later this evening to make sure the murderer or murderers do not assault the theater goers. So we pick up back at the table, finishing your drinks. What would everyone like to do? Obviously, you could say we're going to just let the energies hop and just stay in town, go shopping maybe.
Well,
Good chorus.
shall we head out to the forest and see who's about to join our group or who's to leave?
I think that's a great idea.
Perhaps if there's others, and maybe they're like us and have ill intent, so maybe we get this person and get them in the friendly group.
Mm-hmm.
Always good to start out on a good foot.
And then I'll sneak them out the back, like not sneak, but I'll be like, let's just go out the back door. No need to.
Do you have sandwiches or something that perhaps we might be able to offer?
Perfect. And I'll go and organize some sandwiches, and then I'll bring something for the squirrel. And I don't know if I know what yours is, Nixon.
You would have seen this little black spider peeking out every now and then with a little blue bow tied around it.
See, if we were in South Africa, I could give you something like for the spider called a mopani worm, but I don't think it's a delicacy there. So I'll just be like, sorry.
Yeah,
Bread comes for the squirrel.
So heading out through the back, the party feel you navigate the way out into the entry gates, these massive gates that kind of lead the main road into the town. You pass by the large, beautifully ornate cathedral dedicated to the 8 gods of Sandpoint, sorry, single sand. And the guards kind of stop you. They're like, where are you going today, everyone?
On a fine picnic, and then I'm going to show the sandwiches and the blankets that Malvolo's got.
Yep. And they kind of nod and they say, well, be safe out there. We've heard some nasty rumors about goblins, but please be safe and have a wonderful day. And it is late into the afternoon, but a picnic would be fine. Traveling the roads you've known, why don't we have our first check? So we can use survival. So this is me being a DM and trying to explain what's going on. We are currently in exploration mode. Exploration mode is so in Pathfinder 2nd edition, there's 3 avenues. There's exploration mode, there's combat, and then there's just generic play, right? Like role play. Exploration mode is you kind of just tell me what your character would be doing, and if that decries a check, that's fine. If not, you could say, hey, I'm just following the leader. That's actually an ability later on you could get. It's called follow the leader or follow the expert, and that's fine, right? But if you want to say, oh, Rain, I'm trying to harvest berries. That's a nature check. Malvolo, you could say, oh, I'm trying to sneak through the shadows. Stealth check, stuff like that. So that's really what this is. So, everyone kind of knows the path to get there already. So the survival check is more of like avoiding pitfalls and stuff like that. So staying off of the brush and not so much traveling through poison ivy or poison oak. So it's up to the party, whoever wants to do that. If you feel you have the better option or the better check, you could just say, "Oh, I'll do the survival check." And survival is wisdom based. So if whoever has it, they can use it. It would be on your character sheet, on the skills tab.
Rain will lead out because she's eager to get out of the town.
Yeah.
Actually kind of booking it through the streets, trying to get out there into the forest. As they exit, she just takes like a deep inhale of the nature around, and just you can see her visibly relax. Her shoulders now can become more slouched. She eases her walking pace, and there's just a subtle smile, just contentment being back out where she wants to be.
Mm-hmm.
Finally. Okay. It feels so nice to be out here.
I'm going to say, Rain, since you and I'm just guessing Rain might have the better survival check. I'm gonna say, since you've traveled so much recently, I kind of once I got here, I stayed in town. So if you could lead the way, or
Oh yes, no. I know these roads so well, and if not, we can ask a bird or a squirrel, or there's plenty of friendliness out here. We have no worries. Let's see. I'm gonna try. That roll did not go well.
That's fine.
That's a 5.
A 5. Yeah. So this is just learning the system, and this is just me. I wouldn't make you make this check normally, because it would make sense. But it's just to help people understand how to use Fantasy Grounds, as it is a new system for other people. So just trying to, push that onto you guys. So Rain gets a little turned around left and right.
I'm just excited to be back out here again.
Yeah, it's more of like a kid in a candy store.
Yeah.
Like, oh, look at this plant. Oh, look at
It's
that plant.
it's the scenic route.
Yeah.
Exactly. I want to take my time being out here. No reason to rush back.
You're just stretching it out.
Mm-hmm.
Following Rain's directions, you see a number of interesting new flora and fauna, and heading towards the natural area where you come from, I can do the thing, and that thing is give everyone the map. So, I apologize, and I could put everyone onto this map. Lodi and Sandra and Marvolo. I'm just dropping you onto the map that I sent out. So if you don't like where your direction is, that's fine. You can always change up where you'd be standing. Together. Did everyone get that image?
Yep.
And everyone sees their token?
Yep.
Okay. Just for the general test, if someone wants to move their token, please do. Okay, thank you. Just everyone's running.
Panic.
Yeah, that's fine.
we're outside.
Yeah, just
Nature everywhere. It's touching me. It's the square around you that's sort of like your 5-foot bubble.
So when you highlight, you see that gray square. around your character, right?
Yeah.
That is your range, your touch range. So anything in that square you can actively touch. So right now, if I'm clicking on Nexon, Nexon can reach Cassandra and Marvolo. But outside that, that is like 10 feet. So every square here is the general 5. If it has to be 10, obviously I would say something. Yeah, cool. Just get your bearings on this. This is kind of our time to play around with it. And with that, you come into this wide clearing, and the grass is growing, but it's not as high as everywhere else. It seems it's not growing as strong, and there is a weird sheen to it, almost as if it's plasticky. And the air starts to you smell that ozone, that like there's electric in the air, and your hair and skin, you can feel the tingles. And those of you, Rain and Marvolo, and Nex, I believe all of us actually have magic, right? We all kind of have magic, so you can feel that energy as if, like when you summon from that well deep inside you, that energy to cast a spell. That's what you feel in the air, and you now know you're in the right spot. And before you, this almost like those heat waves during a hot day coming off the ground start to coalesce into one area on the map, in your area of vision, and it starts to come together, and you can see as if you're looking into a warp painting. The world itself is kind of turning and changing and getting heavier and heavier. And when it feels like you can't take enough, there's a pop. And there is a new person standing there. Crut, you are now no longer in the temple. You are now standing in a field. Bright light. The sun is on your body. You only see the sun when you're in the arena, but you're in no arena right now. What do you do?
Crud is very confused. He's looking around. What? Where am I?
Rain will step forward. Welcome. Hi.
Draws his weapon.
What is your weapon?
I ready my claws.
Wolverines.
Kalodi will step forward defensively, flanking the other side of Rain, as he sort of flicks his hand backwards, and from his forearm, a sort of a long blade sort of pops out.
Okay. We're friends. Friends. Very friendly friends.
Yeah, super friendly. So why don't you put them claws down?
How big am I compared to everyone else, size-wise?
Size-wise, you and Rain stand about the same height. Yeah, so you guys are on the same height. There are 2 halflings, so they're about knee-shin height, and a human or a humanoid.
No.
I'm a gnome.
Oh, gnome. Well, sorry, gnome, halfling.
Same height.
They all taste the same to Crut. So they're 2 short folk, tiny folk. Sorry. Nexon, what color is, if your hair is out? You know what does he see Because gnomes are vastly more colorful than everything else.
Yeah, it's like kind of purpley raspberry color.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Delicious.
Nexon will just call it, you don't have to worry. We're here to greet you.
Malvolo sort of seems to sort of be lazily on his feet, and then he sort of walks over with the blankets. He sort of looks at Crut. He sort of stops about maybe 10 foot in front of him. He'll sort of take a blanket, and tucked into the blanket is like this long pair of tongs. He sort of grabs one end of it and just reaches out with what looks to be a very warm looking plaid blanket.
Walks up and snatches it from him.
Yep.
I'm gonna lean up from around Rain, and I'm gonna be like, "We have sandwiches," and be like,
Collodi will put his sheath away, seeing that he hasn't attacked, and flick his hand back. Yeah, come here. Sit down a while. We've got a few things to tell you. Malvola sort of steps aside to sort of let Crut pass.
Kind of steadily, cautiously approach the rest, making sure I know that that gentleman hooded figure is the back of me, and I stand closer to Rain, trying to provide that I am the alpha here.
She's completely unaware of that. She just boringly smiles at you. We're so glad that you're here. Come, how about you take a seat? You must be starving. Have some of Cass's sandwiches. They are absolutely the best. You're going to enjoy this. Trust me, everybody here absolutely loves them. You want to be here. Come take a seat. And she's going to try to like put her hand on your shoulder and gently push you down.
I'm just gonna like just move my shoulder away. I can sit down.
Yes, you can sit, can't you?
All right. I sit down.
If you want.
I'm also gonna just sit down as well, like, and be like, we're all sitting, and then I'm gonna hand him a sandwich.
Collodi will sit down, but Malvolo will sort of take the second blanket that he's got, put it down very carefully, and then sit precisely on it. And then look over at this rather large, towering, imposing figure. Does Crud have any like brands or tattoos or anything?
Yes, I am covered. I actually have one eye, and my left eye is scarred. I am covered in all sorts of scars and wounds, and I don't have a tail.
As in, you don't have a tail, or you have a stump?
You cannot see.
Okay. Malvolo's going to sit down in this little loving circle, but he's going to scooch a little bit away. Just a teeny bit.
Nexon will kind of scooch in a little.
Great Rain is going to sit right next to you, like knees are touching.
I'm going to scooch away.
Oh, man.
All right, you have my attention.
Well, I suppose the first thing to say is welcome. This is not your home, or at least not as you remember it. This is a new place, a place called Varija. And we, like yourself, were very suddenly removed from our places of origin. Um, I am from Zin Haruka, uh, and my name is Malvolo. These are others like yourself from other places within the Empire. He'll gesture to Nexon next.
Howdy. I'm Nexon, and I hail from Zin Edersil, and yeah, it's real nice here, and we don't bite, so we've just kind of all fallen in together since we've got a similar background and fitting into where fate has led us all.
Kalodi sort of elbows Cass and says, "I bet he bites."
Kind of grins a bit.
And I'm gonna and I'm just gonna talk over Colonian and be like, guy, why? I'm gonna give him that face of why you like this. And I'm Cassandra, Kaz, and I'm from Zingastash, which makes sense why I brought the food. And then he hasn't taken the sandwich, and I'm like, guy, here's your sandwich.
I'll
I'm
snatch
like,
it just
"Oh,
like I
no,
snatched
no."
the blanket.
And I'm like, that's all for you. And then I'm going to eat this awkwardly.
The dog is this.
I think
I
it's
pat the dog.
Rain Squirrel.
That's Rain Squirrel.
I didn't let her enter in the first half, and I knew it was because of this, and I thought she was going to behave, and she's not.
No, she's lovely, and she's allowed every second on any stream I run.
Dog goes.
Puppy's like, oh, I want to play too.
Here, there's another on there.
Um,
Rain is going to take another sandwich and put it in front of Krutz. You should eat. You're one of us now. You're part of our family. She's just going to sit there and stare at him, just smiling from ear to ear. It's wonderful that you're here.
I'm going to say, Rain, maybe you want to introduce yourself?
I'm sorry. She's going to put her hand out and kind of like just touch his shoulder, like in a very gentle, like reaching out sort of way. I'm Rain. We're so glad to have you. I was also brought here. It's, what was I, like the second to last one here? It can be very terrifying, but you're not alone. Oh, you're a talkative one. How about you eat some more then? How about that?
I'm just looking at poor Crut. His face is just scowling at you. Just, oh my god. Okay. You know what? Just because I feel like trying it, Kalodi is going to try and reach for one of the sandwiches.
I'm gonna smack his hand away. That's rude. You know we have guests.
He runs after his hand.
I'm now staring at these other two human figures. One dressed as a sailor.
Yes, he's still dressed as a sailor. Yes, do not worry about him. He is Kalodi. He is my guardian of sorts. He is harmless, relatively. And your name, sir? Or madam?
I'm Krut.
Krut. And maybe just a guess. You seem like you might possibly be from Zin Bakragan?
Yes.
Clearly a diplomat. Well, I have good news and possibly bad news. The good news is that you are no longer required to fight for the endless wars of Zin Bakragan. The bad news is that all of the Thessalonian empires have fallen. You see, we are quite substantially been cast into the future. The world that you see around you is the lands that were once the Thessalonian Empire, but no more. We believe that we are somewhere between Bakragan and Shalast, but not entirely sure where. The coastline itself has been pushed thousands of miles, and we currently all reside in a small town just off the coast called Sandpoint. We would very much like for you to join us. You see, we work to supporting one another and burying old grudges as they were, and surviving. For many that came from where we did not, well, were not so lucky.
I'm gonna look at Malvolo and I'm like, did you say this to me when I arrived? Like, is there a lot of dead people?
Well, yeah. I mean, our entire culture, everyone we knew, everyone we loved, everything we had hold dear, they're gone, wiped off the face of the earth.
And I'm gonna be like, oh, but I thought you meant people who landed. Okay, no, it's okay. And then I'm just gonna eat my sandwich and think on it, and I'll be like, it's a lot.
It's a lot of people. It's a lot of people. And you know, those who did survive, it's a couple of hundred years, thousands of years now. And you know, if anyone had survived, they're probably dead, unless you knew an elf or a dwarf, maybe. Then perhaps. But I'm not sure. I mean, pardon my ignorance, but I am not sure of the lifespan of the scaly kin, and I cannot say if you would have any relatives or family members, but you're like a statue. I can't read. I'm feeling very nervous. You're very big.
So you're telling me there is no arena?
Well, there is. I heard that there's one in the place called the River Kingdom, but no, not the Zin Bakragan is no more. There is no city, no arena, no Runelords.
Yeah.
You know, I
Okay.
think you're handling this all really well. I had a bit of a breakdown, honestly. I mean, it's okay. We're all in our different spaces, but you just really seem to have it all together. You are quite the strong individual, aren't you?
I live life trying to fight to survive. If what would happen happens, what can you do?
I'm very understanding.
Exactly. Fate leads you where it needs to go, and you find yourself there, and that's what's going to happen. I think you and I are going to get along just fine.
Kind of slightly nods. Kind of, I approve of this. You're alright.
I'm matching it.
Just looks at you.
Elodie comes back with his hand. I got it. Well, a few small things. Firstly, the town we are going to is a peaceful place, and as far as I'm aware, they are not accustomed to warrior lizards. I ask that maybe we can find you a position or a job, something that you can find comfort in performing while you acclimate to the new times. Is there something that you find yourself particularly good at?
I'm good at killing.
He looks over at Nexon and just sort of at killing. That's what we're working with. He's good at killing.
So what you're
You
saying
could be a
is
butcher or a guardsman or
I like meat.
A butcher. I know a few that I can put in a few good words for. And yes, no, a butcher of livestock. Yes.
I like fighting too.
Well, I'm sure we one thing at a time, I believe.
And then Cassandra has like, oh, there's this, and then she's like, goes into herself, and she's like, probably telling him about the fighting ring for
What?
entertainment is probably a good idea. And then
Okay.
she's like, never mind.
Yeah, kind of pricks a bit, leans towards closer.
Kaludi says, "Oh, hey, there was that thing we got tonight. You know, the big theater thing. No, I don't think we need to. No. Listen, hey. So apparently shut up, Kaludi. Listen, okay. So there's this guy, right? Oh, sorry, no, this woman named Kendra. She wants us to go to this theater because she thinks that some sort of mad manic serial killer is gonna try and I don't know some of the people there. So we've been asked to find some muscle to come make sure that if this guy tries anything that we can, rough him up. Now, I know what you're thinking, right? These guns, they're not for
Yes.
show. But, oh, see, this is our guy. And you know what? She even gave us a reward to hire someone. 1 silver piece.
Hey. She's gonna glare at him. 1?
That's a lot of coin.
It's a lot of coin. Fine, 2 silver pieces.
Thank you.
God, break my arm, why don't you?
I could try.
He hands Krot over 2 silver coins.
I'm going to sort of lean over while the money exchange is happening, and I'll be like, I'll tell you about the other thing later. to Krut. And then I'm like, I'm sure I could find him a room in the inn for until you get on your feet as a butcher hunter person.
Didn't even think about hunter. That might be a good thing too.
Yes, that's what we need is listen for running around with a sword.
Join me out then when I'm foraging. You could kill a bear. That sounds terrible. They don't deserve that. Maybe a guard might be a better fit position.
I've killed a couple of bears.
Well, there's, how do you feel about elves?
I think I've fought an elf. They're tiny, right?
No,
No.
quite.
Oh, okay.
There is a ranger that works in the town. Her name is Shalelu. She hunts goblins from the nearby surrounds, and I mean, if you're looking for killing, I'm sure Shalelu could use someone of your magnitude to kill them. Goblins are voracious, and there are so many of them.
They're tiny.
They are tiny. I'll see if I can talk to the sheriff and see if she'd be willing to meet with you, and maybe you could do some work there. Well, it was lovely, this picnic. What say we return to Sandpoint before it gets too late? I'm sure that Kendra would feel a lot more at ease knowing that we have such a mighty warrior. He sort of slaps Krut on the back. He recoils his hand immediately, instantly filled with regret. Yes, we will. Come, Clody.
It'll be wonderful. You'll like it. They can give you the tour and everything.
To die.
Yeah, and I'll talk to, like, if no one else talks to him, I'm gonna talk his ear off, and I'm gonna be like, it's so much better. Yeah, there's this thing, and I'm gonna tell him about any like new advancements of like, drinking or like fun things, right? Not like there's new sewage systems. Like, I don't care about that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, yeah, and they've got this new meat that's like awesome. And as I'm walking,
Yes, as the party is heading out, suddenly a wind rushes back towards the area Krut came from, and that energy, you feel more of it. Where it had dissipated, it seems to have filled the space, and suddenly there is a popping sound, and arcane colors just start to appear, and purples and violets and reds, and then you hear and a roar as three monstrous creatures appear, and this has never happened prior. They appear in the space that Krut had come from, and let us roll initiative.
Do you have a friend?
That's like loud. Oh god.
Initiative, just that perception.
So on your tracker, it just says initiative perception, and you just roll that. Yeah.
Might need to turn it down a bit.
Yeah.
Can't hear you, Michael.
There you go.
Okay, is that better?
Yep.
Okay, cool.
So
Oh.
these.
I need to remember that the battle things are very loud.
So these creatures, they are humanoid in appearance, but their face extends forward, and their mouth is agape with three hooked jaws, and they go. So we're gonna start combat, and so everyone has 3 actions. So, and 1 action is to move. So my creatures are going to move. As if you look at the combat tracker, you can see the enemies in their initiative. So they rolled a little higher than everyone. So they're gonna move in, and they're going to try to swarm Brut. So each one goes. Normally, I would move, take 2 actions, and then move, take 2 actions. But they're all kind of just rushing the nearest entity. And the first one will make a bite attack. I rolled a 9 against Krut, and that's a miss. And it's going to take a second bite attack, and that one will hit. So it's going to do that one. It's going to do 1d6. Correct. So you take 5 points of damage, Krut. The next one is going to do the same action, so it's going to take. Actually, it's going to swipe at Krut, and that's a miss. Actually, is that a critical miss? Rolled a 7. Nope, that's not 10 on there. And then it's going to swing its other claw at Krut, and that is a hit. So that's only a d4. Take 2 points of damage. And the last one is going to roar out at the group, now realizing that they are there. So Krut, is your go.
I'll smile a bit, and then I'm gonna roar back at them in rage. Roar!
Okay. You have 2 more actions.
And then I will retaliate. And kind of, I'll retaliate and attack the first one that attacked me. Which one was that?
This one. One rotating.
Okay. how do I activate my rage?
So on your main page, on your skills.
Oh, hang on, sorry.
Oh,
so
that
to
needs to be
activate-
fixed, right?
Yes, no. Okay, so I just need, this is tech stuff. So Jared, on the top right hand side, there'll be an effect button. It's like the silhouette of a dude limping on the
Yep.
top right hand side. All right. What you need to do is you need to add a custom effect into there. So down the bottom right, there's an add.
Yep.
And then in Discord, under Fantasy Ground Resources, I put in a rage command. So you just simply copy and paste that into the code, and just that'll create the custom
Rage.
thing for rage,
Mhm.
and then just drop it onto Crut,
Got it.
and that'll give him all the stuff he needs for rage.
Cool. The Fantasy Ground Resources.
Yep. And while he's doing that, Carla, you only have the minor curse stuff at the moment for your.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I only have it if I cast anything. So I don't have it like generically.
Okay, cool. But you don't have the moderate or
Um,
the major yet.
I could get it. It's not like a level thing. It's
Oh, it's a
more I-
right. Okay, cool.
sorry. I have a couple.
Yeah, no, that's fine. I just need to also figure out how to put them in, but I'll do that at some point.
Where'd it go?
Yeah, I'm gonna try and like not use it super sparingly, so probably not the first
There you go.
game.
Nice.
Yeah. I mean, some of those conditions are already there, but it's just about linking them all.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Alright. Which... it's my lizard folk claws. I have an attack of a +4. Then my second is 0 and the third -4. That's not right, is it? Is that right?
Yes.
Okay.
So your so your 2 hit.
Oh,
The first time is +4. The second
The
time.
second one will be 0. Yeah, my third one will
Yeah.
be -4.
You might want to also double check under your actions. Just make sure that you're proficient in your claws.
Okay.
He is.
I am? Okay, cool.
Cool.
Alright, so I will retaliate back and attack this one.
Yeah, that hits. So roll damage. Nice. Okay,
And-
and you still have one more action.
I'll attack him again.
Yeah, that hits. And that will kill that Sinspawn.
I'll then... Have I seen, knowing that I've fought a couple of different sorts of creatures and people, have I seen anything before like this?
No, this is actually new.
Okay.
These are weird creatures. If you ever, so this is to all my players, if you ever want to make a check, so it's one action, you can make
Okay.
a knowledge check.
Gotcha.
To know what you're looking at.
Yeah, fair enough. I, as a finishing blow, I'll kind of stare at the other two.
Cassandra, you are up. What would you like to do?
I'm gonna not stop eating my sandwich, but it's like one of those like, you know, when someone's eating popcorn and watching like a crazy fight. And then I'm gonna hold out my hand and sort of lean around Rain. And I'm going, no, I can't. So if my range is 30 feet, do I need to like, is there a kind of thing like in Warhammer, like my square needs to see the other thing?
As long as you can visibly see them, it's in range. So if like there was a wall between you and them, no, you would have to visibly see them. But this is an open field, so you could see them.
Okay, so I'm gonna eat the last bit of my sandwich, and then I'm going to just lean around Rain and hold out my hand and cast Divine Lance.
Oh, nice. So the way,
Okay, so
yeah. So the way you do this is, you should see on your spell,
mhm.
and you should be able to just click the. Yep, there you go.
Was that
So that hits. So
okay?
this is just for anyone. So if you grab the little d20 and you roll it on top of an enemy on the tracker, it'll automatically roll to on that enemy.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Can I do it with damage if I didn't do the first part?
Yes, you could still do that with damage.
Okay. Did I do it?
Oh, that
what
that
did
still hits. Yeah, that hits the enemy. So the damage part, right? On your character sheet, it is. Oh, I see the attack. That just says attack. Oh, I would have killed everyone.
Yeah, because I oh wait, there's a R spell, so this looks like it's still D20.
Make a ranged attack spell on hit, takes D4 plus a spellcasting modifier. Yeah, so you should be rolling a D4 to damage.
Okay, so do I just pick it from the dice at the bottom?
Yeah. And then
Well,
you just
actually,
roll.
what you also want to try and do, just if you right-click on the spell, it'll open up a menu. Then bottom right, it might say repass spell action.
Mm-hmm.
Try to hit that on it. Does it create damage for it?
Add spell action, add cost, add damage.
There you go.
Okay, so then I must type in damage?
Yeah,
I
I'll
rolled
do it
0.
now to your thing.
Sorry.
Dice.
No, that's okay. This is tech stuff.
Okay, so must I? Oh, okay. So I'll come back and do this on all my spells. Sorry, I didn't know you had to.
No, neither did I. It's just one of those things that on occasion it's like, hey, if it's not done this, do this.
Okay.
So yours +4.
Oh, okay. And then now I've got a dice.
There you go. So you did 7 points of damage to that one since one.
So question, with the 3 actions, could I just
So that spell costs 2 actions, so you have 1 more action to do anything you want.
is a spell always 2 actions?
No.
Unless it
not-
says otherwise.
So on your spell sheet, you'll see like those weird diamonds. This is good for everyone. So
Oh,
those diamonds are how many actions?
sorry, I'm just writing.
So shield is 1 diamond, so it's a V for casting. So you could cast shield on yourself.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm I'm going to do that.
It's fine.
Fine.
No, we're still learning the kinks to this. This is why we have this combat here. So all you do is you cast shield, and shield basically says you give yourself +1 to AC. Yep, there you go.
Okay, and then it just added it to my AC.
It should have just auto added it to your AC.
Ooh. And then I'm gonna finish my sandwich and dust crumbs off my hand.
Nice. Next up is Malvolo. What would you like to do?
Okay, so Malvolo, seeing them surround poor Crut, Malvolo says just quickly, Collodi, help him. He is going to use the Boost Eidolon ability, which is going to give Collodi a small damage boost to his unarmed strikes. That's his first action. Second action, he is going to use... Oh, sorry, actually, he's going to use All Together, which allows him and Collodi to act. So while he's casting the boost spell, Collodi is moving 5, 10, 15. Once Collodi gets there, he says, Damn, you are one ugly mug. Let's see if we can stitch this up for you. And he's gonna again flick out his blade and attempt to slash at the puppet in front of him, the sin spawn in front of him. That is a hit.
Hit, yeah.
And Collodi is going to do a glorious 12 points of damage.
Wow, that is a lot of damage to that Sinspawn monster.
Kalodi is going to. Oh, actually, you know what? Yes, Kalodi is going to take that action again and try on the backhand to use his third action with a penalty to make yet another attack. Ooh, that is a critical miss.
That is a critical miss. Yes. We'll figure out like how we want to do critical misses later, just for everyone. I don't like being like, oh, your arm falls off or whatever. So,
Oh, I like my arm falling off.
all right, then your arm falls off.
Does he like catch it in his mouth?
Yeah.
It's detached. It's just hanging there, flopping. Hey, give that back.
I think that's all 3 actions, right?
That is
Or-
correct.
Okay. Rain, it is your go.
How do you get rid of the dice if you accidentally click on the wrong thing?
You could just drop it off the board, like not in the chat thing. You just drop it off.
Okay. Okay. And then they disappear. Perfect. Seeing these aggressively come at her new friend, she's going to cast Produce Flame and target the one on the right. And that
Yep,
hits.
that hits.
Perfect.
Oh wow, that did a lot of damage to it.
4 points of damage.
Yep, and Produce Flame also comes with the ability to. Oh, that's not a critical success. Sorry. You would get persistent spell damage on that. But you still have one more action. What would you like to do?
We're gonna do it again. Seems to be working, right? Wait,
Mhm.
well, no, wait. This one costs 2 actions, so I can only do something smaller, right?
Yes. So you have the spell Guidance, which is very powerful. That would give someone a +1 to their attack roll, or perception, or saving throw, so that it's not.
I was gonna raise my shield. Does that take an action too?
No. That does take an action to raise shield, yeah, but it gives you a bonus to your AC.
Right. I'm gonna be a little selfish.
Awesome. And last is Nexon. What would you like to do?
I am going to move back a little bit.
Sure.
And then I will look at the first sin spawn and pulling one of the knots along my wrist off. I will cast Daze on it. I
Nice.
think I'm doing this right.
Critical success.
Ooh.
That's awesome. The first critical.
All right. And then so
with that, when you have critical success, it's stunned. So it gets the stunned 1 condition, which is really awesome.
And did the damage happen automatically?
For that, it's no. So
Okay. It's
for that one, equal to the spell.
Yeah.
So that would be 4.
I think
Casting is it?
3?
Oh, 3. Yep.
3.
Got it. It looks rough right now. Because it is at currently 1. So what would you like to do? That was 2 actions. And you moved.
Moved.
Yep, that's all 3. Cool. Top of the round. Sin Spawn 1 goes, and that it's stunned, right? So it's kind of just gonna stand there and look dazed, because that's what happened to it. And it's trying to like figure out what's happening, and its eyes are blinded by this energy. And Sinceborn 2 is going to make an attack on Krut. Sorry, I keep saying Kurt. So it's just gonna reach out and try to cut him.
Oh man, your name should be Kurt, because you know what you could do? You could be like, "Welcome to the Kurt Locker."
Welcome to the locker.
That is a critical failure. So that is rough. So it goes to lash at Krut, and Krut being a not a novice in combat, pushes the overextending creature, and the creature falls prone on the floor. And Krut, it's your go.
I will instinctively try and finish, retaliate and try and finish that one that I kind of shoved over. Okay. That was one.
Oh. 2. 21, that will hit. Four points of damage. And that guy is dead. Sinceborn number 1 is dead.
Still filling with the adrenaline of my rage, I will. Can I attack the second one?
You do have one more attack, yes. Diagonals, the first diagonal is 5 feet,
Yep.
and then a second diagonal is 10.
Okay. So that was my. So I've got one action left.
Yes.
Okay, I will attack that.
Nope. Sadly, that is a miss. Even with the stun condition, it's not high enough. Sandra.
I'm going to cast Divine Lance again. But now that it seems like we've got this kind of, I don't want to look like the chicken who hid in the back. So I'm first gonna like move. I'm trying to move it on Zoom. I was like, why is it not moving? Sort of here. So like I can peep around the side. And I'm gonna be like, and then I'm gonna wave to him, and I'm gonna be like, hey, and then I'm gonna Divine Lance in the face.
That hits.
Okay, and then the damage.
Oh, max damage takes it
Cool.
out of the game.
What?
That takes it out. Congratulations. And with that, how do you finish it?
So I'm gonna wave at it. Go, hey, and then I'm gonna shoot out my Divine Lance, which is a bright purple, but like almost. It looks like the color looks rich, like opulent purple. And as it shoots out, it's gonna go through his chest, and out the other side, it's gonna make a rainbow arc.
Nice. Awesome.
I just want to have like all these bright colored spells, so that when I do raise undead, it's gonna just be like really rainbow spell person brings people up from the dead.
It's like one of those splat artwork pieces, like, except with like, skeletons covered in like pinks and blues.
Yeah.
I mean, there's no reason they can't be cheerful skeletons.
No. Give them a little bow. You do have a tailor. You could have like a whole suit made up for your skeletons.
Perfect for parties.
We knit
Yes.
you a hat for every skeleton.
They're all like dressed like Thriller.
Yeah. Look, I mean, it got lonely on the farm sometimes. Sometimes we had a dance off. Yeah.
Gotta do it. With that, combat does end.
Kalodi
Guys-
snatches his arm back. Give me that.
I'm
Next,
also
you
gonna look
gotta.
shocked. And just be like, okay. Okay.
Yes, so that's never happened before. This was one of the first and only times that's ever happened with someone coming and bringing something like that out with them.
I don't know. I look at this creature. I have no idea what it is. What in the name of Lisala is this? This is, I mean, this has not happened before. Is this a good thing? A bad thing?
Weren't friendly, so I can't imagine that this can't be a good sign.
Well, whatever it is, we need to bury them. If people find these things, it won't mean anything good. We should probably also, I don't know, maybe keep an eye on this place.
Right.
Mm.
Kalodi.
Is there okay, I'm gonna first ask the group. I'm gonna say I wonder if they've been coming and we haven't known, and maybe we should sort of check the area for if there's been tracks, because we got a feeling, but maybe we only got the feeling to come here because of what? Crud. So maybe other evil intentions have come through.
Oh, we just haven't gotten that urge to come here for those folks. That's a good
Oh,
point.
that could be possible.
I have never met anyone. I have not met anyone who has come through this portal before, but well, if there are others, then yes, there's no guarantee. There's also no guarantee that the large one with the weapons, the claws, did you see? He didn't balk, he didn't flinch when those things attacked.
Well,
Crud, have you seen them before?
Nope. I've fought plenty of creatures, but seen nothing of the kind.
Well, I
Maybe.
must say, I am glad that you are here to help us take them out.
That's right. This was your first battle here. You did such a good job.
Also, maybe Malvolo, maybe he is a good guy because we all got that feeling, and no one got that feeling when the bad guys came through. So Brett is a good guy, just like all of us.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Congratulations, Crud. She's gonna pat him on the back real heartily, like.
Yes, no, congratulations, Krat. I suppose perhaps I was hasty in judging you. I apologize. Please don't kill me.
Wouldn't be the first time. Probably won't be the last.
You were his friend, right? Yes. Okay, good. That's what we're talking about.
Malvola will then, with Kalodi, well, using Kalodi more or less, will bury the 3 bodies in several unmarked graves.
Cassandra, just for herself, marks where those graves are in her mind. For future reference.
In case you need some friends.
Yeah, a skeleton picnic.
Krat will pick up whatever sandwiches remain from this fight, even with the bloody hands that he has, and just continues eating the sandwich.
Nexon, seeing the like bloody bits, will just kind of prestidigitate those off. It's better to be a little hygienic, especially when you're eating. Don't know what those things are and what kind of stuff they could have.
Just continues eating.
Well, Rain, if you would be so kind, we need a way back to the city.
Oh, of course. Yes. Okay. We go that way for 15 steps, and then we'll kind of veer a little bit right. I think we should be there. It shouldn't be that hard.
Not hard at all.
Start leading the way through. Here, come on. We'll keep going. Krat, come up here. You can come get the tour. And she's gonna start pointing out things. There's that rock. I really like that one. That's one of my favorite rocks. Over there is a tree that's been here for a very long time, at least, I don't know, maybe 100 or so years. And then over there is one of the bird nests. They're getting ready to hatch, and she's just gonna keep going through. And that's her version of the tour that she's gonna offer.
Krat will accept this for now and follow the party.
Malvolo will follow behind with Rain. It's not that he doesn't trust Krut. It's, for the most part, from where he comes from, the people of Zimbakragan were treated as the boogeymen. The warring, unending, ever-angering creatures who just destroy and kill for fun more than anything else. Battered into his head that, if you see someone from Zimbakragan, you run. But that's just the nature of it. So he's kind of remaining cautious, especially given his size and, like lizard folk look. It's just like you could snap my neck with a flick of his wrist, and it's just very imposing. So he's kind of keeping a bit of a distance, but he's trying to get over it.
Yes. So, I'm sorry. Please.
Sorry. Nope, that's it. I was just gonna keep us moving.
No. Yeah. So, making your way. The group makes their way back to the town.
A couple of hours later, Kalodi's like, "Nope, don't help. That's fine. You're all bastards."
So at this point, it's fairly nighttime at this point, and you now know you have to rush over to the theater for the ceremony, for the performance, and everyone has a few minutes if they want to figure out what they're gonna do with Krut, and even have a possible costume change if necessary.
I will adjust Kalodi in the thing in a moment. I will also take the time to go and speak with the sheriff to see if I can't get Krut a meeting with Shalelu at some point or another.
Sure. So you're going out and you're going to speak with the sheriff. One moment. Sorry. Cass Aberton.
Yeah.
He is a large man, very friendly. He was always very friendly in the town. He has massive bags under his eyes, as if he has lost a lot of sleep in the last few weeks. Always willing to help out a citizen of Sandpoint. Cass says to you, good evening, sir. Good evening. How may I help you?
It is good to see you, Sheriff. A friend of mine from a distant land has recently arrived. and he's looking for employ here in Sandpoint. I was hoping perhaps you might be able to introduce him to Shalelu. He's a hunter, you see, and very familiar with marshland terrains, though his appearance is not so, well, let's just say that he's a unique member of his tribe.
If this had been a year ago, I would have declined any kind of help. But since with all the late unpleasantness, I will set something up. And he pulls out parchment and a quill, and he writes something down, folds it, and hands it to you. He says, "Please deliver this to Baylor tomorrow, and Baylor will help get in contact with Shaylu at the earliest convenience." She comes in every so often with her furs and her trappings, so she should be here maybe within the next week or two, and we could set up a conversation with the two of them.
Thank you so much. It really does mean a lot. Thank you, Sheriff.
Not a problem, Marvolo. Just very glad we can have more guards and more able-bodied in defense of our small hamlet here. We need it, and you could just tell that like something is weighing heavily on his mind, and with your prior knowledge of what was told to you earlier, you could understand why.
I can see something is weighing heavily on you. I hope that that one day it can subside and allow you to enjoy some of the peace that Sandpoint has once enjoyed.
Would be nice to go back to the way it was. And guard comes in, and he goes, "Oh, excuse me, Marvolo. Please have a good day or a good evening."
I excuse myself.
Next, Cassandra Rain. What? Jew. Crut.
Sorry, Rain. I forgot my own character's name. She's gonna just dust off her robes a little bit and be like adjusting her hair. This is good enough, right?
You look lovely.
Thank you.
If
don't go to these
you want,
things.
I could give you a nice little braid.
Oh, could you? It's so hard for me to reach around and actually do something very nice. Here, she's just gonna squat there on the floor so you can easily reach her hair. Well, it's been so long. My sisters and I used to braid our hairs all the time, and then
well, you got such nice hair. I thought it would be nice to braid it and do a little bit of something fancy.
Oh, could you? I've just always worn it down since I've been here. So yeah, no, please. Oh,
Yeah, next and we'll like braid it and like braid in like a nice little like strand of something kind of sparkly.
it's so pretty. I love it. Thank you so much.
Oh yeah, anytime.
She's just gonna keep like just touching and feeling her hair, catching her reflection, especially since you put the glitter in it. She can kind of see it, and she moves in ways just to catch the little sparkle in there.
Yeah, and Nexon will just kind of like shake out her cloak and like fix up what she's wearing.
Yeah, while we're waiting, I'll talk to Krut, and I'll, if he shows interest in continuing the conversation, I'll be like, so there's this very casual, I think the best way to call it is like a fight group. It's not to the death or anything like that, but we could take your 2 silver pieces and we could turn it into, and then I'm just like trying to become his fight club manager while we're waiting.
so we can turn this into more?
Yes, we could turn it into much more. If you're interested. But it's your first day, so we'll talk about it tomorrow.
Do we don't now? No, tomorrow.
We can talk now, and then I'll give him the details and and I'll be like, people will cheer you, and and then I'm like, we're gonna make a slogan for you, so that when you come out, people cheer it, like Crutful for chaos. I don't know. We'll work on it.
Okay. I like this.
And then I'll also point out, like, this is the inn where we'll be staying, and this is the best place to get food, and don't go there because the people there are boring. Well, you know.
Oh, feeling pretty tired, actually. I think
So she says the boring place is Malvola's workshop. It's like, oh.
I need to sit and process this.
And then take him to a bench.
I'm just gonna sit there and just look blankly into the empty space and just trying to comprehend what has happened in the past, like, I guess, hour or something. Trying to figure out, am I dead? Is this real? I felt the fight was real, like, just like those type of things. Now that the adrenaline and the rage has worn off, I'm a bit fatigued, and yeah, I'll begin to kind of like think a lot.
With that, getting yourselves ready, you're Crut having probably the worst since being taken to a slave. This is probably the second craziest thing that's happened to yourself. Marvolo, you come back to find everyone's kind of centered around Cassandra's tavern, in the tavern. And everyone seems to be getting themselves ready for the day or for this evening's festivities. And a friend of yours actually stops you right before you enter the tavern, Malvolo. And it's your old friend. You saw him earlier today, Jervis. And he wants to know, just he sees that you're kind of in a rush. You're moving fast for your character, and he stops you and he's, oh, good evening, Malvolo. How are you doing this evening?
Ah, Jervis, it is good to see you. Thank you for meeting me earlier. I'm just on my way to a show, actually. The theater. There's apparently a very famous play being put on, and myself and some of my clients have decided to go.
Oh, interesting. I'm not really interested in the play. I've had a few things on my mind lately, and but I hope you have a great evening this tonight. And you said everyone in town's going to be there?
Oh, yes, certainly. Most of them will surely be in attendance. Very few people will miss the chance to hear of the great artist's finest work. Apparently, something to do with I don't know, some work of fiction about elves and unicorns and mythical griffins. You know the type of thing.
Yes, stuff of children No,
Yes.
I don't find myself. I don't fancy that. I will spend my time in the bookstore, um, reading as I normally do, and I appreciate our conversations we have.
Oh, well, thank you. I appreciate them too. Do I sense an ominous tone when he says that?
Um, no, like he's just tired. He seems tired. He has bags under his eyes. It's when you saw him earlier, he was much more pleasant. Now he just seems like run down. He is an older man, not like grandfather age, not like that. He's just older. Um, and he
Upper
just
middle
seems,
age.
yeah, like late middle age. So, he's just tired. He seems tired. Um, and at night people get a little bit more concerned because that is when the unpleasantness seems to happen.
Mhm.
Nothing ever seems to happen during the day.
Yeah,
Um,
I'll also tell him to stay safe and to not be out in the streets late at night. There's a killer on the loose, from what I understand, and some people have gone missing, and I'd hate for anything bad to happen to you.
and he looks shocked. He's just like, yes, uh, I heard it might be goblins.
Those damn pesky goblins.
Yes. But if you ever need anything, please just visit me in the bookstore. I'll be more than happy to help you find whatever you need.
Thank you, my friend. Safe journeys, and I hope you continue with the woodworking.
Of course, of course. We do very well doing that, don't we?
Very much so. Well, I must be off. Farewell, and I'll bow, and I'll continue.
He bows to you. A little sawdust comes out off of his ear, and he heads towards the bookstore. Um, yeah. So Malvolo enters, and everyone's kind of sitting there. You see, Kurt is kind of just sitting there, dazed, deer in a headlight style. Um, Kolodi comes in with you, correct?
Yep, covered in dirt.
Covered in dirt.
He goes for a quick costume change,
Mm-hmm.
and will return later.
Sure. Uh, the At this point, would anyone want to do anything differently or head to the theater?
Rain's going to head to the outside of the theater and just kind of anxiously wait. She doesn't want to go in first, much less by herself, and just fidget with her hair, just like, or not her hair because it's up, but fidget with her fingers and just stare at this massive building in front of her. It's just ornate. The theater, it's got all of the theatrical engagement, beautiful art about it, and it just intimidates her. It's just a building. There's some people in it. It's okay.
What does the Sandpoint Theater look like?
It's a fairly large building. A lot of the buildings, as you can see in the picture, they're kind of next to and on top of each other. This is a large building. There is one of those uh, playbills that are out. Not playbills. The marquee.
Oh, yeah.
They have a marquee, and the marquee is actually lit with torchlight. So every night they will light it, and the name of the play is put up on the marquee. Um, Outside, there ornate doors, a bit worn due to the sand, due to the salt water air. There were brass fixtures, and now they've turned green due to the salt. Um, so it has a very eerie green tint to a lot of the doorknobs and fixtures and fillery around. So this building has been there for quite some time. Inside the there are people already in, and it looks like everyone is being seated. Every so often, someone will step out and step in. So it's well traveled, but there is a two section. So when you come in the first door, you're in kind of like a little waiting area, and then there's a smaller doorway that kind of funnels everyone into an entrance, and that's where the tickets would be collected. But Rain is outside, just hanging out there, kind of all by herself.
Are we going to wait outside for everyone to go in and then go in last and just sort of, check them out, see if anyone looks suspicious, like perception?
As you are outside, kind of like peeking around, trying to figure out like who seems suspicious, you notice you've seen this man before. He hangs out at a rival tavern. He is wiry. He has long, oily hair and like a goatee. Very, is that black and white supervillainy looking goatee. And he seems to be like keeping an eye on the theater as if he's waiting for something or someone. He's trying to stand diagonally to the building and kind of in an alleyway in between two houses to make himself not seem he's there. He is smoking a pipe, but he'll like peek out and then like just stare at the building and then turn his back to it and like lean up in the alleyway, and then you'll see his head like peek out. It does look like he's trying to keep out of sight, but not like obnoxiously out of sight.
All right. At this point, Malvolo arrives with, in the company of a very posh gentleman, with bright purple hair, a goatee, not too dissimilar to the shady-looking man who's eyeballing everything. And as he kind of steps forward, you watch as what is clearly Kalodi walks up to some random people and suddenly goes, "Oh yes, no, I heard exactly the same thing. Well, yes, no, that thing that you are saying is perfectly reasonable and understated fact that I think more people should be aware of. Have you considered being louder?"
And they're just like looking at each other, and they're looking at him, and they're like, what?
Oh, yes, no. Have I told you about my wife, Dorothy? Now, my wife, Dorothy, oh my God, could she talk? I mean, I've got stories to tell you about her. She once believed that the moon was made of green cheese. Darndest thing. On our last honeymoon, we went there, and sure enough, it was made of a certain type of brie. Now, this brie was not, and he's gonna just
start rambling. The people are looking at him and then like looking around to see if they can escape this conversation. And one of the people, part of the group, is like, "Oh, did you hear that?" And then it's like, "Oh, we should probably go in the theater." And then the other group is like, yes, our seats might be taken. And they just shuffle away from Kalodi as fast as possible.
"Oh, yes, see you in there." And you'll go find another group of victims.
He's slowly clearing people out. That's what Kalodi's doing.
Malvolo will walk up to the others and he's actually dressed in his nice dress suit. This is probably the most his face has been exposed. He's actually wearing kind of a masquerade version of his mask, which actually does reveal his kind of his lower jaw, but not so much his not so, like it's almost like a very extended sort of eye mask. you all look so wonderful. I must say that I'm glad that we all managed to arrive here safely. The news of the killings have spread, and well, I'm just worried, is all.
Question. Am I just
Mhm.
wearing what I came in, or has someone? Yeah, cool.
Unless you want to change, you
No,
could say, "Hey, nah, man. Like I would have taken stuff off."
I'm pretty comfortable with what I'm wearing.
Okay. So you're sticking out like a sore thumb, just lizard man in like garbed in almost gladiatorial gear. A few people stop by and you overhear, the group would overhear them saying like, "Oh, I think that might be that's one of the gladiators. It's going to be in the play," and they're kind of they're assuming you're part of the play as that this is a costume because no one in their right mind would walk the streets like that.
My uncle was a gladiator, you know. I mean, there's this one time he managed to single-handedly saw a ship in half with nothing but a toothpick.
And the people are like, "Oh," and they give you that wide-eyed like, "Oh, we walked into the wrong crowd," and they, like,
Follows.
I'm going to mention when Malvolo arrives, the shady, the shady guy, but I'm going to sort of whisper, and I'm actually going to wait for Kolodi to be like, "I know, man," and then I'm going to use that time to
to say what you need to
point
say.
him out.
Very well. Um, I'll sort of nod and look at Nexon and ask Nexon, what do you think? You recognize this individual?
I was out of the room. I'm sorry.
Some random
It's
guy
no,
with
no, it's just some guy
evil,
who looks super
evil
shady.
mustache.
Evil
No,
mustache.
no. I haven't seen him before.
Rain, are you okay? I know that.
I am breathing, and that's a good place to be right now.
Just remember that the town is like a forest, and the people are like woodland creatures. That very noisy, unclean woodland creature. They just yes, a forest of woodland creatures.
Woodland creatures. Forest of woodland creatures. Yeah,
That's
this will be fine.
it. Malvolo will take note of this individual, like just sort of keeping a track on, like like what he looks like, what he's doing, what he's wearing, etc. Um, but I mean, I don't think we should draw much attention to ourselves. I mean, the last thing we need is for someone who's potentially a killer to suddenly, you know, um, suspect that we're searching for them.
Right. Yes. No. I'm totally on the same page. Not uncomfortable at all. But yes, that's what we should be focusing on.
Is
Suddenly,
he?
oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead. You
No,
may.
I just wanted to know if there was like an entrance, if he was killing near like a side entrance, and then I would just say like, well, take note of that, and when we're
Mhm.
inside, keep an eye on that entrance as well.
Um, there is a side entrance to the theater, where this shady person is standing. It's very much they could see both entrances, um, without too much of a problem. It is weird that he is leaning with his back on the wall that would be making him face away from the main entrance. So more of his vision would be seen at like maybe the side, like he's looking for the side exit of the theater. But with that, suddenly a loud, sharp whistle pierces the crowd as guards come running past you. They are just shouting and running in a separate direction from you. The crowd starts to part, and some of them start to funnel into, but and now you could hear more whistles just popping up all as people are making their way a block or two away from the theater. Yeah, and the guards are all rushing forward towards that. The whistling. You've heard these whistles before. This is when something happens. This is how the guards kind of alert each other and start to you know
We should go, right?
Yeah. I'll head towards where it sounds like stuff is happening.
Rain is gonna follow next.
I'll follow behind and I'll be like, what if it's a distraction? But I'll keep up with him.
Muted mic.
I'm not sure if it's a distraction, but we should still check it out.
If everyone's going to head in that direction, I'll be the last one to follow.
So running in that direction, you're keeping pace. Those of you who, you're pushing yourself, and all of a sudden, there are guards. You see 4 or 5 different guards, and they're huddled in an area. And Sergeant Baylor comes rushing down, and he seems to be in a panic. He is. It looks like he's almost in tears. And this is, those of you who have been here for quite some time, this is a man who does not seem to have emotion. He is stern. Every typical 1980s cop, right? Like the stern, no emotion. It looks like he's almost in tears, and he's rushing towards this area, and he runs with you, and he makes eye contact with the group. And something's amiss. You can instantly feel it. Getting to the area, you all get there at the same time. Guards are like angry. Like people are just angry. There's anger and tears in guards' eyes, and you see a body on the floor, face down. Baylor walks over and turns it over. Not even the guards aren't even concerned about you guys getting there. They just everything seems amiss, and the body turns over, and it's Captain Cass. He has been killed. Malvolo, you were one of the last to speak to him, and now he's dead. On his forehead, as you can see, is the 7-pointed star carved into his forehead. Baylor lets out a roar of just anguish and passion. This man was obviously important to him. And the guards are now confused, trying to figure out what to do. They're looking at each other. They don't know what to do. And suddenly, from down an alley, it sounds like something gets knocked over, and you hear a woman scream.
No. I'll go run towards the screen.
Okay. Running towards the screen, the guards confused. You're kind of the first heading that way. Running towards the screen, a woman stumbles out, holding her chest as there is a razor stuck into it, and she falls onto the floor. And you look up, and there is a man, maybe his face hideous and twisted, as wearing some form of looks like a hollow, like maybe like leathers have been pulled over his face, and it's all twisted and horrific. And he hisses at the group, and he starts to run away from you. If you have any kind of spells or something like that could stop him, it's 100%. You can just be like, hey, I do this. We're very much in an action kind of scene.
I'm going to immediately attempt to tend to the wounds of the stabbed woman.
Okay. You can
I
roll
would
a
like-
medicine check. Oh, I'm sorry.
We're good. Yeah. Keep moving with that first.
Medicine check. That is an 18.
Okay, so Malvolo, you rush and you start to put pressure on the wound, and you start to try and wrap it and stuff it to keep pressure. And you've dealt with situations like this before, where you don't remove the blade. You know that would be a bad thing. So you're doing that. What's everyone else doing?
I would like to cast anyway.
I'm sorry. Could you say that one last?
Sorry.
One more
Yeah.
time?
I would like to cast Tangle on the one running away.
Okay. Just roll a d20 and see what you get. That's going to be more than enough to have it happen.
Perfect.
So, what does it look like? What does the spell look like?
As the individual is running away, she just casts her hand out and the ground begins to kind of crumple. You start to see something moving underneath it, the dust settling up as it continues to rise higher into the ground. Ultimately, when it gets within range, just these ground roots just jut out of the ground, wrapping itself around his ankle or her ankle, bringing them down, almost pulling the individual back into the ground a little bit, that their feet are just now entrapped within the ground itself.
Mm-hmm.
Rain is going to run up and catch up to them.
Mm-hmm.
Where do you think you're going?
The individual, as you get closer, you realize their face is a patchwork of skin stitched together. It is a mask, though. It hangs loosely around the eyes. They smile, and their mouth is full of needle-sharp teeth. And they open their mouth, and it smells like death and rot. And they lift their head and twist it back and start to laugh. And that's all you get out of them, just this hideous laughter.
Nice. I don't know what I want to do.
Nope, that's fine. Someone else could step in.
Am I able to just walk up and just maybe knock this thing unconscious?
You could try and do that, yeah. It's tangled and it's monstrous in appearance.
So I just roll a straight
D20.
straight d20.
Yep. What do we get? Let's see, 13. So you swing upon them and you smash them, like your big meaty lizard man claw smashes them into the head, and it knocks them forward, and the mask kind of comes loose, and they're in fine clothing. That's the weird part. They're kind of in like a suit, and the mask comes forward, and lifting the head up, it's loose on the face, and you can see that it's a man is underneath the mask, and the laughter stops, and the man looks at you, looks at everyone, and says, "You can't stop them. They're coming. You can't stop them." And then opens his mouth and bites down, and then blood starts to pool out of their mouth. They start to shake and twitch as if something has happened.
Does Malvolo look like he's gonna tend to this woman?
Yes, Malvolo is doing the most that Malvolo can right now.
Yeah, I'm also gonna run up and to see. I'm like, do we want him to survive, or what's going on?
I'm gonna grab him by the throat and tear his mask off.
Pulling his mask off, it actually, when you rip the mask off, you now see the face of the man behind it, and it is Marvolo's old friend, Jervis. Jervis is bleeding out the mouth, and the blood, as the mask comes off, the mask seems to be like absorbing the blood, like that was pooling on the face, and then as you're taking it off, more blood just starts to pour out of the man's face, and he kind of looks wide-eyed at Krut, and he shakes his head no. He's just shaking his head no, as if something is wrong. And Krut, you feel you don't have any magical connection. You're sadly just a barbarian, but the mask feels wrong in your hand. Actually, Nexon and Cassandra and Rain would all, the way your classes work, you guys would feel wrong. If you have the occult spell, the occult skill, you could roll on that. That might aid you a little bit. It's okay. If you have,
I
so
have it. I don't know if I'm good at it.
so you can roll on it. Even if you're not trained in it, you might roll like a 20, right? And then you just get a little bit more information than the person. Yeah. All the dice rolled
Yeah.
at once.
What do you guys know?
Oh,
Oh.
snap.
All right. So yeah. So see, there's really good rolls right there. So trained. You guys are both. So Nexon and Cassandra. You see this mask, and as the mask is pulled up, and you can see on the inside looks like it's alive. Like it's trying to eat and be fed. And while you are new to this world, these aberrations, these creatures aren't new to the world, to the universe, and they are like outsiders, and this mask is fetish that links energy, that links one person to these outsiders, these abominations. And you know the mask was clearly being used as kind of like a focus for this man to commune with his abhorrent gods. And the mask being pulled off, it's dying. It needs, living tissue to be alive, and it is now dying. Marvolo, you look up and you can see your friend dying.
Malvola just stands up immediately. He knows he was keeping pressure on the wound.
Mm-hmm.
For the first time, kind of Collodi, without being told, just kind of goes over and puts pressure and kind of replaces Malvolo because he's not looking and not focusing and not concentrating. He runs over to his friend. He yells at Krut. He says, "Get away from him!" And he holds onto Jervis. He looks at the injuries, the scars over his face. He sees the blood pouring from his mouth. He knows there's little he can do. What have you done? How did this happen? His robes, which are pure white, sort of stained with blood, as he holds him and just holds him close.
I'm gonna try and stabilize him.
Yeah. So that's a no roll, right? Spell. As you reach out to pull the energies from the beings who grant you power. So as a oracle multiple beings usually grant power to you. As a witch, Nexen, it's usually one patron. So you go to stabilize, and as you do that, the mask in Kurt's hand ignites into flames, into holy fire, and starts to burn up. And there's a squeal coming from the mask as if it was alive. And all of a sudden, you hear boom, 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 boom as heavy boots rush in your direction, and a sword plunges into Jarvis Suit's chest as the sheriff, the now new sheriff, Baylor, takes revenge for his dead friend.
Malvolo stands up immediately and clenches his fist and just gets ready to sort of throttle Baylor. As he does,
Sensing this, Rain is going to reach in and just almost bear hug him from behind. No, not now. It's okay. And just kind of lift him up a little bit.
I am a spellcaster. I can't resist. I'm lifting off the floor. He thrashes angrily, like this anger just wells up inside of him. Eventually, he just breaks down and falls silent.
Rock a little bit. It's okay. I know. I'm sorry. It's okay. It's okay. And then she's just going to slowly turn away from that scene, almost shielding him away from it, and then gently put him down and puts her hands on his shoulders. It's okay. Breathe.
Malvolo takes off his mask and just wipes his eyes with the blood-soaked hands, and then puts the mask back on, which is just got this streak of his friend's blood on it.
I am sort of is the mask did it like burn up like in flesh, or is it still burning?
Oh, it's still burning. It reeks too. It
Um
actually smells quite familiar. As you stuff yourself with roses and flowers to stop smelling like that.
Yeah, so I'm going to hold on to Jarvis, and anyone who looks at my face can see like I'm actually cringing as because I think if I take my hand off, it's going to stop the burning maybe. So I'm going to keep trying to stabilize him, even though like, yeah, I just want to let him go. And so I'm sitting there covered in his blood because the sword and I'm keeping my hand on him. And I just have nothing else to say. So I'll keep doing it until it burns up.
And with that, the end. That is the end of your session 0. We have things to talk about later on, and yeah, it's a very dramatic scenario.
Cool. Just go through the outro if you'd be so kind.
Sure, not a problem. I'm still working on the outro. If anyone has a better outro that they would like, they can just send it, please. I'm always open to having that happen. But thank you very much for being here, everyone. This was our rendition of Pathfinder 2's 2nd edition, Rise of the Runelords. I am your host, Jared, and I am joined tonight by Michael, where you give us your socials.
Cool. Hi guys, my name is Michael. You can find me at everywhere you can type in Dead Aussie Gamer. You can find me right here because it will be my channel. And I'm doing a whole bunch of crazy, awesome, and exciting things, such as I'm doing Rime of the Frost Maiden, and I am doing, of course, Winds of Wilderon on Saturdays.
Awesome. Carla, where can we find you and where can we catch all your cool stuff?
I'm with a group called Dum Dum Die, spelled DumDumDie, and we play on Twitch every Tuesday, and we have a podcast on Wednesdays. And you can find us on all the socials spelled like that. Yeah.
Awesome. Becca?
I'm Becca Godsey. Thank you for tuning in. At Becca Godsey on Twitter, Instagram, all the fun stuff. X Caustic Phoenix on Twitch.
Wonderful. And Dawn, where can we catch you?
You can catch me Roll for Initiative on YouTube. We make videos about role-playing games, and our Fry vlog on Twitter and Instagram.
Wonderful. And last but not least, Eddie, our tech and everything man.
Yes, my name is Ben. You can find me at Tabletop Explorers, or here on this channel, Dead as a Gamer, where I am the editor, aside with Michael with the amazing future projects up ahead.
Awesome.
Yay! All right,
Thank you very
and
much.
cool, and then we will go and raid people,
Mhm.
and that'll be all nice and stuff, and then that'll be it.